Good morning. Welcome to CAD-1's presentation of Autodesk vehicle tracking, and it's probably especially poignant that we're doing this morning when you need a little more tracking room than usual. In fact, we are actually broadcasting from two locations today because the venerable Mr. Haley was not able to make it down from his northern Colorado home today, so he's broadcasting from home, and I'm broadcasting from the CAD-1 studios here. So if the sound's a little bit off or something, let us know, but when we do a remote broadcast, the sound gets a little different, it seems like. Anyway, with that said, this is going to be an interesting presentation today, so with that, I'm going to, Mr. Haley, can you switch to the fasten your seat belt and your life belt or your life rafts under the seat slide, please? Here's our webinar slide. If you want to minimize the console, it's now an orange arrow, but you hit the orange arrow and it moves the console out of the way. Most of you know how to do this by now, but you can raise your hand. In fact, I would ask you if you can hit the raise your hand button so that we can see if you can hear us. That would be great. Most of you, looks like most of you can, so thank you very much. Most important, you know, if you want to ask a question, type it into the question box, and we will try to get it answered as closely to in context as we can. And so with that, Mr. Haley, we have a couple housekeeping slides here real quick. We do have a student industry program. We recognize that a lot of university students, college students aren't able to always get formal training, although their schools usually have a very nice lab for using the software. Sometimes they aren't able to get the formal software training. So we have a training program that we work with many of the schools and universities to help students get trained on software. If there's any interest in any of your part in that program, let us know and we'll direct you to the right person, Carla Fitch here at CAD-1, who manages that program for us. And we do have some upcoming classes. We are going to Laramie, Wyoming next week to the Wyoming Engineering Show. It's always it really is a very nice show up there that they put on. And the day before the show starts, Mr. Haley will be doing one of his Civil 3D Best Practices classes. These have been a hit over the years. Always new things he brings up, and Brian's a very knowledgeable and entertaining speaker. In fact, he's really considered by Autodesk one of the top civil technicians in the country. So with that, we also have on February 17th through the 20th a Civil 3D Fundamentals class, a CAD to GIS class, Map 3D taught by Mr. Geisler, which will be March 3rd through the 5th. Civil 3D Fundamentals again in March, a Styles class following the Fundamentals class a few days on March 24th, Grading in Civil 3D on the 25th, Pipe Networks on the 26th, Hydrology and Hydraulics on the 27th. And we do throw it out there that we always entertain the idea for new webinars and or classes, so if you have ideas of things you'd like to see, let us know so we can see if we can put it on the docket in the next few months. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brian J. Haley, PE, and our vehicle tracking seminar.
All right, thanks, Stan. So Autodesk vehicle tracking, it's new. Well, it's sort of new. It's new for Autodesk. Autodesk just recently acquired this technology from Savoy Computing. So Savoy Computing created a program called AutoTrack. If you're familiar with AutoTurn versus AutoTrack, they're very, very similar programs. They do basically the same thing. And so Autodesk has recently acquired Savoy, and so we have vehicle tracking. Now, if you have ever looked into purchasing the AutoTrack software, one thing that you will have noticed is that there's different pieces that you can buy. So I can buy the turning templates. I can buy the roundabout piece. I can buy the parking tools. Well, if you get the Autodesk vehicle tracking, that's all together. So there's no little separate pieces to buy. It's just vehicle tracking, and you get the whole thing. There's three major pieces of the vehicle tracking that we're going to take a look at today. First off, turning movement. So how do I get this vehicle to navigate through this area? Can it fit? If my driver is a really good driver, will they be able to do it? You know, those types of things. So I need to figure out, is this something that my vehicle can manage or not? The second thing we want to take a look at is creating corridors, or I'm sorry, creating roundabouts. So this will lay out a roundabout for you. It'll do the approaches, it'll put in the turning bays, it'll do all of that fun stuff for you and lay out the corridor for you. You can then come back and edit it as well. And finally, parking. So we can come in and we can add in parking stalls to a site. And there's tools here in the vehicle Autodesk tracking that allows you to automate this process. So those are the three pieces that we're going to take a look at today. Before I get too far into this, I have a couple of polls that I'd like to bring up. So let me go ahead and bring up my poll here. And let me go ahead and launch this one. So as far as the software that you use, what do you typically use? Are you a Civil 3D user? Are you a map user? Are you an AutoCAD user? Or something else? The reason I bring this up is because the vehicle tracking will work on all three of those programs. As far as I know, it'll actually work on any AutoCAD-based program, so maybe even AutoCAD Architecture if you want to. Not positive on that one. I know it works on these three. We'll have to get into the other one. All right, so let me go ahead and close this. Share the results here real quick, just so we can see if you're in the majority or the minority. All right. So let me go ahead and hide that. So you can see about 3/4 of us are using Civil 3D here. All right, let me go grab my next one. Go ahead and launch this one. So where do you think the vehicle tracking can be used the most by you and your organization? Doing subdivisions, you know, residential stuff, commercial stuff, working around airports, working at transportation projects. You know, we're doing a roadway design, a new intersection, those types of things. All right. Go ahead and close this here real quick. And I'll share those results. So it looks like most people are thinking about commercial. A few working in transportation, just a minor few working in subdivisions. Yeah, I kind of agree. Subdivisions are pretty straightforward as far as that goes. And then some others. I'm not sure what was the others. Maybe for those of you that typed in others, maybe type in a chat or ask a question what the other might be. I'm just kind of curious.
And by the way, it can be used at airport locations quite nicely as well. Brian,
Yes.
we have a couple questions from Daniel. I assume you can see them on one of your screens there. What parks? That's Mark notes parks, and that's certainly one as well. Daniel asks, what vehicles are included in the vehicle tracking list?
Yes, we will get to that once I get into the demonstration.
Great. And do you know if this is AASHTO compliant?
Yeah, I'll be talking about that as well. So.
Great. Thanks very much.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, Daniel, if I don't get to it, which I'm planning on doing, make sure you get back to us. But I am planning on talking about that.
And we have a couple other notes here. Chris, real quick, uses a product like this to verify turnarounds for fire apparatus and things like that in long driveways and so forth. So that's interesting.
Yeah, and Mark uses it for parks. So excellent. And I got one final poll to ask here. Hang on just a second. Let me get my polls back up and running. And finally, and probably most important, especially for today, do you like snow? I mean, are you from some place like, oh, I can't stand, you know, we don't get snow. We live down in Georgia. Oh, okay, never mind. Maybe it's all right. Or maybe you're just like, oh, no, I don't know why I'm in Colorado or wherever I am, and I just want to get out. So just kind of curious here. Just have a little fun. All right, that's what I like to see. All right, let me go ahead and share this. So it looks like we got some snow lovers here. I love hearing that. I love snow myself.
Mr.
I'm
Haley,
not a fan of riding in it, but I do love the snow.
you just hit the I love snow button many times and pumped up your own votes, I think, Mr. Haley. And Eric makes the comment, which is kind of funny, I'm sick of snow, where is that button?
All right, so I kind of got back ahead of me. So let me go back into it. So the agenda, I'm just going to get into it, and because I'm tired of PowerPoint, and I'm sure you guys are as well. So let's go ahead and get into it here. So what I'm going to start off first is the turning movements. So as you can see, when I have
Brian, real quick,
vehicle Autodesk tracking, yes.
Real quick, we're still seeing the poll, and we can't see your actual screen yet.
My bad. Let me hide the poll there. Thank you.
There you go.
Is that better? Thank you very
Yep,
much.
got it.
It's always nice to have somebody to keep me on track. All right. So when you're when you install vehicle tracking, you'll get a vehicle tracking tab up on the ribbon, and it has these tools here. So what we're going to be talking about first is the swept path analysis. So I have all these tools over here for my swept path analysis. All right, I got some extended tools here. And so let me go ahead and open up a drawing. And I'll just open up this drawing here. I have no idea why I chose this drawing, but I did. It's a kind of a residential area, and I want to determine whether or not I can get a truck around this little traffic circle. And basically, I'm going to come up this road, make a right-hand turn in here, go around the traffic circle, and then up this way. So can a truck make that movement? So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do an auto drive. All right, so I'm just going to choose auto drive. Yeah. It brings up some options here. I've got an existing ground and a quarter surface in here. And if I want to, I can project these plan onto the surface. So I want to see the path actually on the final surface. Like I'm having some audio issues here. Hang on, let's see. You guys still hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. I just got a little message pop up.
I can anyway.
Well, hopefully everybody else can too. So, all right. So you know, and then what layers do you want some of these things to go into? So I'm not going to make any changes here. I'll select OK, and it's going to ask me, okay, where do you want to start your vehicle? So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to start it here. It's going to ask me for the initial orientation, so I'm going to have this driving along the street. And then it brings up the position vehicle option. So I can do things such as set the initial turning orientation of the front tires, or the angle points of the trailer, or all these different things. Now, Daniel was asking about, well, what vehicles are included. Well, I can come over here to my library of vehicles, and here are all the vehicles that come with AutoTrack. So if you're working in Austrian, we got the Austrian Heft 502-2000. I have no idea what that is. But if you're there, you got them. As far as the U.S. design vehicles go, we have the statewide AASHTO vehicles. And I'm going to be using the 2004 U.S. Customary. And here's the vehicles that are in here. You can always come in and create your own if you need to. Now, Stan mentioned something about the airports. So we actually have commercial aircraft as well. All right, so I got some Airbus. What is it? The 380 is the big one. All right. So you can model aircraft through an airport if that's something that you're going to be doing. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. I'm just going to use the WB-40 to test my turning motion here. Like I said, I got some vehicle orientation options. I'm going to go ahead and proceed. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to start figuring out, okay, where is this vehicle, how's this vehicle going to try to make its way through this intersection? And let's see, let's just go ahead and I'm going to maybe come out here a little bit. I've never actually driven a semi-truck, so I don't know if this is going to, how well this is going to work. All right, so I'll come through here and I just start picking my points. And oh, see, I didn't quite make it there.
Well, let's hope nobody's standing on those corners there.
Yeah, nobody's on the sidewalk, exactly. So I didn't quite, that last little piece wasn't quite, so I'll just go ahead and undo the last, remove the last tangent. So I'll do L to remove the last tangent here. Oops. All right, so I can back my way up through it a little bit. And there we go, that's a little bit better. And just kind of start picking my way through here. And as you can see, this vehicle is actually able to make the turn through here. Now, for this particular traffic circle, we've got a concrete apron because, well, we know that it's going to be difficult for larger vehicles to make the turn, and it's there for them to go up onto in case they need to. Smaller vehicles should have no problem getting through here. So, can this vehicle make it through here? It looks like it can. Once I've got the path created, and it's set the way I want to, I've got some other options. You know, I want to be able to see how the vehicle relates to the path as it, you know, when I start deciding, you know, I'm going to plot this thing out. So I'll go ahead and see if I can remember which button it is. It's not that one. Is it this one? Not the report. Was there? I know it's in here somewhere. Place outline. So what I can do is I can then say, hey, I want to place the outline on this path. And you can see as I move my mouse along, I get this little, I don't know how well you guys can see that through the web interface here, but it just kind of shows me the little graphics. And so, oh, I want to see it right there, you know, I'm clipping that corner. I want to show that it's clipping the corner there. So I can place the outline at that location. And then I'll continue up and, you know, right there, it looks like I got it clipped there again. I could probably come in and, you know, make this a little bit better. But I'll place the outline there as well. I want to see it as it's coming through the intersection. And then I'll place it coming out as well. And so I can see those things. Let me go ahead and freeze the surface here and make it a little bit easier to see. And so I can see the vehicle as it passes through this. And, you know, if I want to, I can always come in and add more. And there's my template. It's really quite simple to do. I've got other options. I can do a guided drive. I can create a turn template. So if I create turn templates, right, I can do printed templates, and I'll just print it out, DXF. I can block insert into the current drawing, choose the vehicle that I want. So I want to use the Ashto WB-40. Right. Go ahead and finish that, and something just happened. There we go. And there's my turning template. So, you know, for people that just want to see, okay, what can this WB-40 do? There it is. Now within the library, and I'm not going to get into this in any great detail, you can always come in here and create your own. So I can create a new library. So I can import vehicle tracking data, export it out. Let's see. I can drive them. I can create a new library and create new vehicles. There's quite a bit you can do. So I can set a vehicle as a default. I can choose a different one as the default. And so maybe I'm doing this one a lot. I can right-click on it, set it as the default. Yeah. So this is the vehicle tracking piece, or the swept path analysis. So if anybody has any questions on this, please feel
Brian,
free
you've
to,
got. Can you see the questions?
yes.
I don't know if you have two screens.
I'm looking on a single monitor right now, so
okay. Well, we've got three
but,
questions here, so let me read them off to
okay.
you. Daniel asks, "Can you modify the path with grips?"
So, can I modify the path with grips? That's a very good question. Yes, I can. So once the path is created, I can then grab it, and I get quite a few grips here, as you can see. So the square grips, I can adjust my tangents. Now, I can adjust this so that the rest of the path no longer works. And if that happens, you'll see I get just a solid red line here. I'm going to go ahead and undo that here real quick. Right, but yeah, as I make the path change to the path, the rest of the path will update as well.
Okay, and
So
Chris asks,
okay, go ahead.
Chris asks, are there fire trucks in the library?
I'm sure there are. There's vehicles in here for all sorts of different things. I'm sure one of these could be a fire truck. I'm not exactly sure. I don't see any that are called fire trucks specifically, but you can always, like I said, you can always create your own vehicles. Right. So I can go into a vehicle wizard here, and I can create my own vehicle. It's a rigid vehicle, so you go out to the fire station, you get some measurements, right, and you start putting in what the vehicle parameters are. So if one of these doesn't work for you, you can always create your own. I can go into some advanced options. We got rear axle, steering, body outlines, couplings, just all. I mean, if you want to be able to do it with a vehicle and it's a steered wheel vehicle, you can do it here. I doubt it will work for like a tank.
Okay, so Chris asks,
Were there any others, Dan?
yes, there's actually a few more popping in here. Chris asks, can you define a path with a polyline that the truck will take for a smoother ride? Again, can you define a path with a polyline?
Yes, I believe that's the guided drive. So if I, let me just kind of draw a polyline over here, so I want the truck to go an arc in there, and then an arc in here, something like that. So a guided drive, I believe, maybe. I don't, I'm not positive, but I'm sure you can. I haven't done it yet. Let's see if we got an option here. Yeah, here we go, follow along. Yep, so there we go. So yes, you can.
All right, and Daniel asks, what if the path doesn't work? In other words, your path there that the truck was following there, what if that path didn't work? How would you approach that, I guess, is the
if the path doesn't work, if you can't get the vehicle to go through your design, then, well, I guess suppose you have to change your design.
Or you have to put up one of those signs that says no trucks.
The project. Yeah. I mean, this is here to determine whether or not the truck can make it through. If using this tool you've determined that the truck can't make it through, then the truck can't make it through. You could either petition all the truck manufacturers and have them make their trucks differently, or change your design. So those are two options that I can think of.
And
changing your design would probably be a little bit more feasible.
And Brian, Daniel did send a modifier to his question, and he says, I meant when you modify the grips, it showed it incorrectly. So what he meant by that was, what if the path doesn't work when you modify it with grips?
Undo and try it again. So, I assume you're talking about, like, for example, this, Daniel, where the path no longer works. Is that what you're referring to? Show the truck doing a backflip. Yeah, so you just kind of got to keep modifying your grip. So as you can see, as I modify this grip, if it doesn't work, it's not going to give me the outline. As soon as I put it into a location where it does work, I get the outline. So now it doesn't work up here, so I'll modify this grip until I can, once again, get something working.
All right, Brian,
So
I think that's all we have right now, so let's let you go on. And Chris, you just popped your question in there, and we'll get to it in just a second here. I'll let Mr. Haley proceed.
Yeah, so let me answer Chris's question real quick. I got it up here.
Right.
So Chris's question is, okay, so I've got this path, and I need the truck to drive through the path. I got left and right limits for the truck to go through the path. Is there a way to specify the path and have the program determine whether or not the truck can fit through the path? Does that sound correct, Chris? Quick yes or no? Okay, good. As far as I know, there's not a way to accomplish that. There might be, but I haven't gotten into any of that. So, unfortunately, I don't think there is. There might be that I'm not aware of, but I doubt it. So you got to remember this program's still fairly new. I'm still learning it myself, so I don't know all the ins and outs of it just yet. I'm still working on it. Yeah, not currently. So hopefully that answers your question. I hate answering questions with a no, it can't. But yeah, it can't make a very good cup of coffee either.
Okay, Brian, looks like we're clear for now. Go ahead and proceed with caution.
All right, with caution, great. All right, so that's the tracking piece. Let me let's see. So now that we got the tracking done, I want to show off the corridor piece, or not the corridor piece, the roundabout piece. So that's junctions up here. So I'm going to create a new roundabout. Let me go ahead and just open up a different drawing here. I'll go to this drawing. So this is just one of the tutorial files that I decided to plagiarize. And I'm going to create a new roundabout. Just like with the vehicles, I've got different specifications for the different types of roundabouts. So if I come up here to my Junction Library, or Junction Standards Explorer, I've got all these different types of roundabouts that I can put in. So I can do a rural single-lane roundabout, a triple-lane roundabout, a double-lane roundabout. Wisconsin DOT's got some in here. You can do some in Italy, right? So I'm just going to choose I don't know, choose the rural double-lane roundabout. You can give the name, a description, put some notes in here.
Brian,
elevations if you want it to.
Brian, real quick from here. Oh, your screen locked up there for a bit, but it's clear now, so you're good.
Okay. I've got a couple of different draw styles. So if you're using a dark background, it'll put in some light colors. If you're using a light background, it'll put in some dark colors. Dark colors for a light background, light colors for a dark background. I can do it monochrome. So I got some options here. So I'm running with a dark background. I'll have it use the light colors. I can specify my surfaces. I can project plan onto the final surface if I want to. Select OK, and I'd ask, okay, where do you want the center of this roundabout to be? So I want the center of the roundabout. It doesn't have to be at the perfect intersection of the two roads. So I want it to be, about here, offset just a little bit. And now it's going to ask me for the alignments that are coming into the roundabout. Now, when I select the alignment, it's going to start creating that transition into the roundabout at the location I select on it. So when I select here on it, so about station 440.
Hey Brian, your sound went off there for a minute. You're back on now.
Okay.
There we go.
Give me just a moment. I'm going to try to see if I can change some of my network settings. All right, am I back? Hello?
You're back with bells on now.
Can you hear me? All right, great. So let me go ahead and undo that and start over here real quick. So I'll go create my roundabout again. Again, I got some options. I'll select OK. I want to put my roundabout here. And I'll select the roads that I want to come in. Give them a name. I can grab a profile that represents the design if I'm doing that. And I'll just go ahead and select the 4 rows here. And it creates my roundabout for me. Now the nice thing about this is I get a ton of grips here. So I can come in here and I can start making changes to the road. I can pull this out. I maybe get to, little warnings as I'm editing this. I got all sorts of grips that allow me to make changes to the roundabout. These grips are great. And it almost makes me want to get into designing roundabouts. So real quick, real easy, I can lay out a roundabout. It's pretty cool. If I take this in my object viewer, you can see it's actually a 3D object here. Let me change this. And why are my signs not showing up? All right, so my signs should have shown up there. Do that one more time. I had signs before. I must have chosen a different style that's not displaying my signs anymore. But they will put in the 3D signs and everything for us. So there's a real quick roundabout. So what I'm going to do, any questions on roundabouts?
Nope, not right now.
Any questions, Dan?
No, not right now. Oops, right. Daniel, yes, sneak up on me there. Hold on. He said, are these AutoCAD entities, polylines, tables, etc., or specialized, and can they be exploded?
So if I grab this roundabout and I list it,
right. And then he notes if necessary, because exploding things isn't always good.
Vehicle tracking junction. Right. So you can see it is a vehicle tracking junction. So it is a unique object to vehicle tracking. If I explode it, honestly, I haven't tried to explode it. So let me go ahead and try. So if I explode it, I get an alignment there, I get a circle there. So get a beautiful, whatever that is, polyline. It's just, isn't that lovely? So yes, you can explode it, and you'll get the AutoCAD entities out of it if you need to. So if what you're doing with the junction doesn't quite fit what you need it to do, you can use this, get it really close, and then explode it and do whatever it is you need to do.
Okay, and so we've got a couple questions from Joe here, and then Daniel asks, he typed in primitives, so I'm assuming can it use primitives or
Yeah.
take advantage
So
of primitives.
when you explode it, you get the AutoCAD primitives.
Right. Okay. Joe asks, can we add profiles and create a surface? And he also asks, can this feed into a corridor?
All right, so the question is basically, can I create a 3D model out of this? Yes, you can. I'm not going to show it off here today just because I haven't practiced with it. But, oh, what the heck, let me go ahead and try it. I've always been told don't try things you haven't practiced, but I'll go ahead and try this. Let me go ahead and undo here. I'll just undo all the way back.
This is a case of instructions for good practice meets an engineer who just wants to see if he can.
Yeah, so if you assign the surfaces, so my existing ground be existing ground, I don't have a final surface, so I'm going to leave it undefined. So as I create this, there is an option to, let me just do maybe a 3-leg intersection instead of the 4-leg, just because. So as you can see, it's creating a corridor there for me. Yeah, so you can see it will create a corridor for you. I'm not exactly sure how it picks up on what it targets, but I can have it create a corridor. Not sure where it gets the assemblies or all of that fun stuff, but when I choose the alignments coming in, it grabs the profiles from those to design the intersection and the roundabout. So there it is. Like I said, I really haven't had much chance to get in and see the inner workings of it, but then I can take this corridor and make a surface from it. So hopefully that answers your question.
Okay, we're good, so go right ahead, Brian.
All right. Now this whole single monitor thing isn't very much fun. All right. So the next thing I want to show off is the parking tools. I think the parking tools are cool. I think these are going to be huge. So let me go ahead and open up another drawing. So what I've got is just a drawing. It's just a blank drawing. I brought in an image, and I've got an existing parking lot here, and I'm just going to use this as an example to show you kind of how the parking tools can lay over, it can be used. So as soon as this thing opens, the image I've got in here is about 1.5 gigs, so it might be taxing my system. Yeah, this should have been open by now. So I'm going to go ahead and pause my screen. Pay no attention to the guy behind the curtain. I'm not doing anything back here. I didn't just kill AutoCAD and relaunch it. Honestly, I didn't.
Brian, I've got a couple things while it's spinning there, if you like, so that I
Yes.
can kind of fill people in on. There's a couple things Autodesk is brewing up here, so we want to make our customers and all of you out there aware, just so that you can do your business planning or whatever may be necessary. It looks like Autodesk is going to increase the price of subscription renewal. Don't know the exact date. They're just saying late in Q1. Now, their first quarter starts February 1st and runs through April 30th, so it'll be sometime in there. So if you have subscriptions that you want to renew before the price increase, get them done. You can go anywhere from 90 days out. In other words, we can renew a subscription 90 days ahead of time. I don't know why we can't go 91 or more, but that's the rules. So anyway, if you do have a subscription, get those in. The other thing I want to bring up, I was going to bring this up at the end, but since Brian's waiting, it looks like we got the screen now. Real quick, next year, starting February 1st, 2015, Autodesk will no longer be upgrading software. I'll give you a moment to groan and curse Autodesk. Okay, done. Now they're not going to upgrade any more software. They're trying to get everybody on the current release so that things work better and so forth and so on. However you may feel about that, that's going to take place, and we want to keep people informed. If you do have older software, right now 2013 and back, come the March-April time frame, it'll be 2014 and back. If you do have older software that isn't on current subscription, try to get it planned to get it upgraded this year so that you don't lose the value of your software come next year. So with that, we'll go back to a lot more fun stuff that Mr. Haley's doing. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Dan. Thanks for covering for me there. Appreciate it. So here, and like I said, I'm just zoomed in on a parking lot. And I want to start, I'm going to pretend this is a blank piece of property, and I want to start putting in my own parking stalls here. All right, so I'll try to avoid the panning and zooming as much as I can, but I'll have to do some of it. So on the vehicle tracking, I have parking tools. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm simply going to lay in a long stretch of parking right in here. So I'll come up to, and I'll create a new row. Right. The parking standards name, I'm just going to use the default here. Select OK. I got some options. I can do a scale. I can do a surface. This drawing doesn't have any surfaces. But you can take those parking lines that it creates and project them up onto a surface. It brings up my parking row properties. So, the bay alignment. Do I want to make sure that the parking stalls are straight across, just like what you see here, from each other? Or is it okay for them to be offset from each other? Do I want to do a step? Do I want to do an angle? So I've got other options in here. I can do just the left side, I can do just the right side, or I can set this for both. I can do a two-way flow intersection, service type, moderate turnover, high turnover, a vehicle class, lots of options here. I can put in a start island, I can put in a bend island, so if I have an angle point like this here, I can have it put in an island, I can put in an end island. All right, so I'm not going to make any changes here. I'm just going to start laying out this. So I'll pick my first point, about there, and I'll stretch this up to that last parking stall there. It allows me to continue on. This is pretty simple, so I'll just go ahead and end it. Now it's asking me, okay, which side do you want these parking stalls to be on? Well, I wanted to use both sides, so I'll just hit enter, and now I've got my parking stalls. Oops, I didn't quite set it up right. So when I created it, I put in these end islands, and I really don't want the end islands in there. So I can always come back and I can edit the parking stalls. So I'll come up, I'll edit the parking row in this case, and I can make changes to it. Oh, I don't want those start and those end islands, so I'll just go ahead and toggle those off. Select OK. You can see those end islands disappear. I didn't quite draw it long enough to get this last little stall in, so I'll just go ahead and extend it so that I can get that last row. On the other side, there shouldn't be a stall. So what I can do here is I can actually angle the end of it, and as I pull it in, you see that last row disappears. Down here, everything's fine, and everything's looking good. And then I can continue on to my next one. Add in my next row, add in my next row, add in my next row. Here I've got some single side. So I'm going to do basically the same thing. I'm going to create a new row. I want to start here. I want to end here. Oh, I should have turned off my islands. I don't know if I can do this mid-turn. Oh, I can. Check that out. All right, so I want to end there. And now it's asking me which side do I want to be on. Well, I want to be just to this side, so I pick on the screen to this side, and it just puts in the half row. I got some, this is some really weird parking here. I don't know if that's really the way you would want to put in your parking stalls or not. But anyways, but my curve is here, so I'm just going to draw on a polyline here real quick to represent my edge of asphalt. Now, I didn't do a real good job, but I wanted to make sure that my curve and my lines were tangent. You want to draw it a little bit better than I just did, obviously. But I'll just go ahead and put in a new row. Again, I don't want to put in my islands. just because I don't. Alright, I'll just snap to the end there, snap to the end there, snap to the end there, and snap to the end there. Alright, I want it to go just to this side, and it puts in my parking. Now, as I'm laying it out, I found that it would be easier if I don't try to put curves in. I'll just come back later, and I'll adjust this so it is a curve. And it's actually pretty cool. If you've drawn this well, when you get to that fillet point, it'll actually snap to that curve. I'm not snapping to anything, but you can see how this is snapping, and now I have my parking. I'm experiencing network difficulties. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, it's a little choppy at times, but it's a little choppy, Brian. We're okay. Chris asks, can you add handicapped stalls and islands? Brian, I think we lost you all together now. Well, while Brian's doing that, let's see if there's any other things we can talk about. We like our webinars to stay fairly commercial free, but at the same time I will bring up that this product is on, if you're on subscription with your current Civil 3D or MAP or Autodesk product in general, there is a promotion where you can buy this product at half off. And you'll have to forgive me, I don't know the exact price right now because Autodesk just changed some prices and I don't want to give you an inaccurate price, but it's half off, somewhere around $9.95, $9.50, something like that, until the end of April. So if you're interested, that's a good indicator. I have no idea. Many times Autodesk buys a new technology and then they start adding it into existing products. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not. We'll see. But if you do want it and need it and can justify it, that's the story right now. And Mr. Haley, are you back yet?
I believe I am. Can you see the website?
You're sounding good, and I can see the vehicle tracking there. So
okay, perfect.
No, Daniel, that's not a network license. You'd have to give me a call, and I could look that up, or give us a call, and we can look that up. And the other thing that since you're with City and County of Denver, there will be some slight government price allowance. Not sure exactly what that is. So.
All right, so let me go ahead and open up another drawing here real quick. I'm basically going to go to a drawing where I've already laid out all the parking stalls here. All right, it's thinking. Hang on. I disconnected my VPN, so it has to go check all my network drives and everything, so it'll usually takes a moment. There we go. So I'm going to go open up this this one here. So I've gone through, I've created all these parking stalls. Going through this to me again. Come on. Well, if nothing else, at least you realize that it's not just you that Civil 3D does this trick.
You're halfway back.
Yeah, hang on. Just a moment here. This has been a rough webinar for me. All right. So let me try this again. There we go. I think it has to do with that huge image. So I went ahead and I laid out this whole parking lot. There's a couple of other things I'm going to show you here real quick. I have some handicap access stalls here, disability stalls, whatever you want to call them. Right now, they're not being displayed as the way I want them to be displayed, so I'm going to change the way they're being displayed. So there's a few in here that I want to change. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to, instead of editing the whole row, because this whole row actually continues quite a bit around, I want to edit just these few stalls here. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to edit the stall, the parking bay. So I'll select the row and I want to edit for. And it's going to ask me, okay, well, which one do you want to edit? I'm going to start here at this one. And then, okay, so I've got these bay types. What type of bay is it? So I'll change this to disabled. I'll select OK. And as you can see, it puts a little disabled symbol in there. Well, the disabled parking cell, it needs more than just a symbol in it. It needs to be wider. It needs to have the access on the sides. So again, I'm going to go ahead and edit this one. I don't want to use the disabled, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to basically create a new bay type. I'm going to start with the disabled. I'll go ahead and duplicate that. And I'll call this one disabled access right. The bay markings, I'll leave it to the default, the safety zone. I do want to use the safety zone. This disabled safety zone actually has the buffer. That there's these little, so this here in the image is the safety zone. It has it on both sides. So I don't want to use that one. I want to use a different one. So again, I'll go ahead and duplicate this, and I'll call this one safety zone right. All right, so the driver is on the left, so extra for driver, I'll set that to 0. All right, my number lock got turned off. I do want to draw the safety zones for this, and I'll select it. Okay. So for my disabled access right, I'm going to use the safety zone right. The symbol, I'm going to use that, and I'm going to put in a custom bay width. I don't want to use the default. I want this to be, say, 11 feet. No comments on if this is right or not, because I honestly don't know what disabled stall should be. Select OK, and OK, and there just wasn't quite enough room there at the end, so let me try this again. Disabled access right. Why is this not working? Of course it's not. All right, I think it's because I did it at the wrong end. Let me try one of these in the middle here. I was having some issues with this earlier as well.
Chris, and while Brian's kind of collecting his thoughts there, yes, at this time, if you're on subscription, again, with your Civil 3D or your AutoCAD or whatever, you may purchase the vehicle tracking software at half off the list price. So yes, it is an additional cost to your subscription. Now that said, we don't know what Autodesk is going to do with it, but many times they start incorporating products that they acquire within a version or two. So, you know, it's one of those, unfortunately, kind of let the buyer beware situations.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, a lot of times Autodesk has included stuff. You know, like for example, the river analysis tools is now part of the Ultimate Suite. This might be a part of the suite someday. We honestly don't know. So we will tell you if you need it now for that project you're working on, yes, it is an additional cost. Next year, will it be included in the software? I don't know. This one I don't even have a feel for. I don't have a gut feeling for, are they going to include it or not? A lot of times I will. This one I don't. I can see this one possibly staying as a standalone program. But like I said, I just don't know. So I've got my right side bay in. I'm going to go ahead and edit this left side bay now. Again, I don't have a left access bay here. So I'll go create a new one. I'm just going to take this disabled access and I'll duplicate it. All right. And I'll call this one, choose duplicate or delete. Let me make sure I get this right. So I'll duplicate this. I'll hit, oops. Just let me hit enter. I'll hit disabled access left. The safety zone, I don't want to use the zone on the right, I want to create one on the left. So I'll just duplicate this one again. I'll call this one safety zone left. Switch these out. That one's going to be 0. That one's going to be 5. All right. And if I see this option, share safety zone, so if I have a left and a right that butt up against each other, then they're going to share the same safety zone, which is kind of nice. All right. Everything else is good. Select OK, and now it puts that in there. And now what I can do is I can come in here and I can say, hey, okay, I want to take this one. All right, so that's a left, and then I want to copy it to that one, and that one, and that one. And then I'll take the right. Oops. Do that again. Okay. Take the right, and then I'll copy it to that one, and that one. So it allows me to put in my disabled parking very, very quickly.
Brian, we've got a question from Mark. He asks, will the templates you create stay with the program, or do you have to rebuild them for each drawing?
That's a really good question. And so when you're talking about the templates, you're talking about, like, so for example, when I come in here and I edit this bay, you're talking about these here, correct? Can you just give me a quick yes or no there, Mark? Okay. I honestly don't know. So he says yes. I'm pretty sure these are with the drawing, because I've come in here several times, created new ones as I was preparing for this, and every time I came back, I close out of the drawing and I come back into the drawing and they would be set back to the way they were. So I'm guessing these are saved with the drawing. I'm sure there's a way to manage that and create new ones for the defaults. I'm just not quite sure.
Tell you what we'll do, Mark, and when things like this come up, what we'll do is we'll look into it and then get an answer back to you. You then asked, then could you do a master template and insert it? And that's a good question.
Right. So I don't know. I'm thinking maybe it might be in the settings here. No, it doesn't look like it. I don't know.
Well, we'll get an answer for you,
yeah.
Mark, on that one. We will. Brian Daniel asks, does the license expire if you don't upgrade each year? No, it doesn't expire. It's like any other Autodesk product. It doesn't, if you don't stay on subscription, it's not going to expire. It's just going to stay where it is, and will become further and further separated from the, updated technology. And keep in mind what I said, that after next year, they won't allow any upgrades, so if you do want to upgrade it in a few years, it'll be buying a whole new seat, and there's some math you can work out as to how long the subscription price versus buying a new seat is, if you want to go through that. Chris asks, Brian, can you list the parking stall count and for separate handicap stalls?
Yeah, so I was just going to create a report here real quick. That's one of the last things I'm going to do.
And then Joe's got a question too. So.
Okay. Yeah, I got two more things I want to show. I'm going to show off creating the report, and then I want to put a road basically through my parking lot. So I can create a report, and this will give me all of the bays, right? The bay types, how many there are, percentages there are. I can then export this out. I can customize the report. So, I just want to see certain things, or I can show everything. And then, like I said, I can export this out, and I can save it out as a CSV file. So I can take it into Excel and do whatever it is I need to do with it. So I can definitely create a report. Another thing I can do is I can put a road right through it. Let's see, where is it? No, it's here somewhere. Create access road. So I just want to create an access road. So for whatever reason, I actually have an access road that needs to come through here. So I'll create an access road. And I'll just draw on my access road. I'm going to go from here to there. All right. And it puts in, basically you can see, I'm not sure why my style changed, but you can see that it basically splits my parking rows and allowed me to put a road down the middle of them. So, like I said, I must have been in the settings when I created it to put in that type of style. So let me try this again. Create my access road one more time. I'm going to go from here, say to there. Yeah, I'm not sure why I switched. But you can see how it puts in that access road. That's not the end of it all. I can always come back here and modify the rows, set them back to where. And I'm sure I did something wrong. I want to set them back to that bay alignment. And
It's so much easier to park that way anyway, so that's fine. Joe asks, are the templates and styles accessible using Ad Center?
Design Center, for the vehicle tracking, I doubt it.
And then Daniel asks, can you match properties on that?
Again, I doubt it. I've never tried, but we'll give it a try here real quick. Yeah, it matched the AutoCAD properties, but it's not going to match the settings for the parking lots. So if I had them on different layers, they'd be on the same layer now, right? But it's not going to do anything for the parking pieces. And I'll have to look into why it's changed. I'm sure there's a setting there that I missed, but yeah.
Brian, thank you very much. We're just a couple minutes over, but you did a great job on a snowy day from remote location. And so anyway, hopefully this was helpful in giving you some idea of how to use this. Many of you have been asking, and so that's why we felt it was important to do a webinar, even though some of the answers aren't real clear yet, but we'll have more in the future. And thank you for today. Let's see, anything else you wanted to talk about to end things up, Brian?
I don't think so. I think that pretty much covers it.
Yep, go Broncos, and hope with regrets to any Seahawks fans out there, go Broncos.
And Daniel, yes, that we are recording this. It'll be up on our YouTube channel soon.
Soon, yeah. All right, folks.
For non-committal.
Thanks very much, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a fun Super Bowl day. Bye-bye.